tend to think that ancient Egyptians built the pyramids solely for their pharaohs and the afterlife. We often view it as a culture obsessed with death. But in reality, these stone giants were just a tiny fraction of their world. The Egyptians created a civilization that remained virtually unchanged for thousands of years. Not because they didn't know how to change, but because they understood order, time, and human nature in a completely different way. Today, we will try to see the world through their eyes. Ancient Egypt isn't just a chapter in a history book. It is perhaps humanity's longest-running social experiment. Imagine a society that lasts for 3,000 years. 3,000. For comparison, our modern technological world has existed for a couple of centuries at most. Even the Roman Empire rose and fell much faster. But Egypt stood firm. Generations replaced one another, but the essence of life remained the same. How did they do it? The secret wasn't magic or alien technology. The secret was their mindset. They found answers to questions that we, in our constant rush, have stopped asking. Their view of the world was so complete, so whole, that they simply felt no need to change it. To understand an Egyptian, you need to learn just one word: Maat. We translate this as truth, justice, or balance. But for a person of that time, it meant so much more. Maat is cosmic order. It is perfect equilibrium. Look at the nature of Egypt. Every morning, the sun inevitably rises in the east. Every evening, it dies in the west. Every year, the Nile floods to bring life, and every year it recedes. This is Maat, the correct, predictable flow of things. The opposite of Maat is chaos or isfet. To an Egyptian, the world was not a given. The world was a fragile island of order in an infinite ocean of chaos. And the task of every human being, from the great pharaoh to the simplest farmer, was not to achieve personal success as we are taught. Their task was to uphold Maat. If you do your job well, you sustain the balance of the universe. If you speak the truth, you strengthen the walls of creation. For Egyptians, the most terrifying thing was not physical death. The most terrifying thing was the collapse of order. Because if Maat disappears, the sun will stop rising and the Nile will stop flowing. Here lies perhaps the biggest difference between them and us. We live in an age of individualism. We want to be unique. We want to stand out from the crowd. An ancient Egyptian simply wouldn't understand us. To them, the desire to be unlike anyone else would seem strange, even frightening. A person in Egypt did not feel like the center of the universe. They felt like a part of it. They were embedded in the system, like a brick in a temple wall. A person's value was defined not by their uniqueness, but by how perfectly they played their role. Are you a scribe? Write so that your words live forever. Are you a builder? Lay the stone so it stands for centuries. This doesn't mean they were mindless slaves to the system. It means they felt a deep connection to everything around them. An Egyptian knew, if he is in his rightful place, he is needed by the gods. He is needed by the world. This gave them an incredible sense of psychological peace that we so often lack today. He didn't search for himself. He knew exactly where he belonged from birth. But what was happening inside this person? When we say soul, we imagine something singular, indivisible. The Egyptians were the first psychologists in history. They understood that humans are complex. They believed that a person consists of many parts. Let's look at the three main ones. First is the Ka, your life force, your energetic double. It is what distinguishes a living body from a dead one. As long as you have energy, your Ka is strong. Second is the Ba. Ba was depicted as a bird with a human head. This is your personality, your character, your memory. What makes you you? And the third part, the most important, AKH. Akai is the transfigured spirit, or being of light. You are not born a complete human. You become a perfect being after death. If you lived your life by the laws of Maat, if you pass the trials, your Ka and Ba unite, and you become Ak. You become a being of light, equal to the stars. For Egyptians, death was not the end. It was a final exam. And all of earthly life was just a long preparation for this exam. A human is not a fixed point. A human is a process of turning into light. And now look at the pyramids again. We see them today because they are built of stone. But the Egyptians themselves lived in houses made of unbaked brick, of simple Nile mud. Their palaces, their homes, their markets, all crumbled into dust. Why? Because a house for the living is temporary. It's a hotel. But a tomb is a house for eternity. But this doesn't mean they were gloomy fanatics. Quite the opposite. Read their love poetry, look at the murals in the tombs. They loved beer, they loved loud parties, they loved their children, they loved beautiful clothes. They loved this earthly life so much that they wanted to extend it forever. The afterlife for them was not a dark dungeon or an abstract heaven in the clouds. It was the field of reeds, a place where everything is exactly like Egypt, only better. Where the harvest is bigger, the Nile is fuller, and loved ones are always healthy and nearby. The pyramid is not a monument to death. It is a machine for preserving a beloved life. Egyptian civilization lived for 3,000 years with almost no changes in art or religion. A modern person would call this stagnation. An Egyptian would call it perfection. Think about it. If you have built the ideal society that lives in harmony with the gods and nature, why would you change anything? Change is needed only when something is broken. And they believed that everything was working correctly. Egypt didn't lag behind the times. It simply didn't feel the need to chase it. Their time didn't move in a straight line, from the past to the future, like ours. Their time moved in a circle, like the movement of the sun, like the seasons of the year. The main goal was not to move forward into the unknown, but to return to the beginning, to preserve the perfect order created by the gods. We live in a world of constant change. We are afraid of missing out, afraid of becoming obsolete, afraid of chaos. The Egyptians lived in a world of preservation, and perhaps that is why their civilization turned out to be one of the longest living in human history. The next time you see a photo of the pyramids or the golden mask of Tutankhamun, don't think of them as dead monuments. Think of the people who looked at the very same sun as we do, but they believe that order is always stronger than chaos, that truth is eternal, and that a human being is created not to vanish without a trace, but to become part of the eternal light.